All right, we are live for our Tuesday 1 p.m. Pacific time hangout. Now, today I'm going to talk about a specific issue. As usually, we start out with that, and then we're going to get in some Q&A and a few other things today. But first, let's talk about this guy. That's me in the last few years of my ownership experience with Tesla, which is the best car in the world. However, this is a problem, and this is a serious problem um, that no one's really talking about, and I feel like it's continually bringing Tesla down behind the scenes. And now, when I say no one's talking about, I'm talking about the mainstream media and even social media. But where I see this being talked about a lot is the message boards of Tesla owners. If it's not fixed, I think this might just be the biggest thing that's kind of sinking sales and most importantly, lowering the customer retention for the brand, which is a lot of times one of the most important things that every car brand and every consumer brand is very concerned about and lives by. So let's talk about all of this coming up next. Taking over the world, electrifying the world, Welcome to E4Electric, your number one source of unbiased electric car news. If this is your first time here, go ahead and click on that subscribe button down there so you don't miss anything moving forward. Of course, the super chats are welcome. The highest super chat, as what now is becoming a tradition, will be invited as a guest to co-host with me for a little bit next time. I had a great time last time talking to the super chat winner. The one from the last week, the winner, unfortunately was not able to make it and co-host with me today, so unfortunately it's just going to be me. But again, thank you so much, and don't forget, this is not child's games. This is my full-time job, so I appreciate anything that you guys contribute. It just goes basically to my living expenses, essentially. All right. Enough about me. Let's talk about the customer service. As you know, I just returned my Tesla, 2-3 weeks ago. I was on my third Tesla. I've owned one since 2012, before pretty much everybody else. Like all of these big fans on YouTube, they're always love Tesla. Well, I always loved Tesla. 2012 was not the year where it was cool or even smart to buy one. And I wanted to make a contribution on behalf of my really generation. I felt that my generation really didn't do much. Really, like my dad, he was part of the World War II. I thought this was the call. This was the call for us. But it was not very cool. So I wanted to support Tesla from 2012. And one of the things that I've always appreciated about cars is not just the car itself. Obviously, product is important. And I probably shouldn't just even say cars. What I appreciate about any product or service is the overall ownership experience, right? From the moment that I started shopping for it, wherever it might be, to the purchasing experience, to the after purchase experience, to customer service. And in case of Tesla, also over the air updates, because if you think about it, over the air updates is part of the service, continuous service that Tesla provides. It's amazing, right? The fact that your car can actually become better or worse in some cases over time, it's remarkable. So the first couple of years, I enjoyed the service tremendously. Tesla was amazing. Yeah, if there was any problems, and there were problems, obviously, my 2012, had a lot of problems, and they would come out to your place of work or where you live. They will pick your car up, and then they give you another one, and it was just it was just excellent. But then with time, as the fleet grew, and maybe they couldn't grow with the fleet in terms of the number of locations, but also the number of people they had to hire. Obviously, they couldn't just hire everybody's just the best, right? Because you have to grow your force, your customer service force, and you can't just get best for all of these positions. At some point, when the Model 3 production hell started, I know a lot of people were diverted from even general managers for the service centers were diverted to the factory to help with whatever they could. And I understand that, but time after time, month after month, year after year, the service had subsided not just for me. At first, I thought, "Wow, I'm really having a bad luck here." And I've tried different service centers. I obviously my location originally was South Bay in San Francisco Bay Area, so I tried the one in Sunnyvale and then Palo Alto, and then when Santa Clara opened, and unfortunately, it was all really really bad. And then now I'm here in Sacramento, California, so the Rockland, California center is the closest to me. And even when I was returning my car, they kind of reminded me why for now I've decided not to get another Tesla, which is the service. And I'll tell you that story quickly. And I really don't also want to think that this is just about my service and I'm judging the entire brand by what just happened to me. I could just be unlucky. And I think overall I've been unluckier than an average Tesla owner. But, I still run a pretty large Facebook group community for Model S and Model 3 owners, over 35,000 members there. And I approve every message there. I approve every picture. I approve every message. And what I've noticed a lot lately is the fact that people are complaining more and more and more and more and more and more about the service. And not just, you had Tom Malogny on my show. As you know, he has his own segment, Plugged In with Tom Malogny, every Friday. He is getting a Model 3, and he already, had some concerns with his purchasing experience. Ryan McCaffrey from Ride the Lightning, he just had a great pleasure of interviewing Elon Musk in person, and I covered that as well on my Monday videos. But he, obviously a huge Tesla fan. In his interview to me a couple months ago, if you watched it, you also know he expressed some frustrations with the service as well, like Tesla Kim. So even she is as big of a fan of a Tesla as you can get. And remember, she made a video about how frustrated she was when I think it was one of her relatives that ended up going to a service center, getting really bad experience, which she never experienced because if they know who you are, they do treat you better. I have experienced that before where a manager of one of the service centers figured out who I was, and all of a sudden the service was great. And then my ex-girlfriend went in for a service, and they didn't know who she was, and they treated her like crap. And then I was like, oh, wait, the service wasn't really fixed. It was just fixed for me, which is a shame. It's I don't want to also say that there are other problems that are not a problem. Obviously, the stock and the production and a lot of things that Elon says. I mean, there are a lot of things that are a concern. But I think this is a concern that because people don't acknowledge it, I feel like if anything that's going to bring Tesla down or really continuously get into their sales numbers is going to be that. I just had dinner yesterday with one of people that I met here in Sacramento, a huge Tesla fan, and he loves the car, just like I love the car. But his problem was already a service that was, unbearable and horrible and horrendous. And I see people being torn between those two all the time, and which is unfortunate. Now, so let me tell you a quick story about what happened when I was returning my Tesla, which is just ironic and sad at the same time, I guess. Before that, I want to remind you that this video and this channel is sponsored by Byton. Check out their brand new upcoming SUV coming to the US and Europe in the end of 2020. It's called M-Byte, starting at only $45,000 before the incentives. Pretty cool. And you know what? It's $0 down to make your reservation, which essentially is about 60 seconds of your time. I really don't know why people haven't done it if you haven't, but join myself and 50,000 of other people by going to the description of this video and reserve yours today. All right. So, one thing I know about Byton, not only I'm going to enjoy their car, I definitely know the service is going to be better. But here's the thing. I really hope that Tesla turns this around. Like, this is almost not fair. Like, I've talked to some salespeople, and they tell me that it's harder for us to sell these cars now when next door the service guys are working against us with this crappy service. And I really hope that they fix it, because it's harder to sell this amazing car when when you go home with it, you're kind of on your own. The things that I've mentioned that are bad are, wait, if you want to call them and have a, conversation and have a, well, not like about the weather and stuff like that, meaning if something's wrong with your car, you will end up waiting. Some people wait over an hour. That happened to me a couple of times. Um, it's guys. I see questions in the live chat, but I'll answer them after I kind of we exhaust this topic. But feel free to jump in about maybe your experiences with other brands or with Tesla. Those I can definitely read out right away. And or if anything, just let me know where you're watching me from. I see people watching from Norway, Spain, Nebraska, Jordan, Singapore, Nashville, Los Angeles, Puerto Rico. This is amazing. That's awesome. All around the world. I am in Sacramento, California, so maybe not the most exciting place on birth, but it is what it is. So yeah, so I wanted to tell you guys a story. So when I was returning my car for lease return, I pulled up to the customer service window, right? And I sat there. It's not the first time I sat there, and was waiting for somebody to come out. There were a few staff members walked by my car, saw me sitting there, and nobody really came out. I waited for 5 or 10 minutes. I was like, okay, well, let me come in. And by the way, mind you, if you haven't owned another brand for a while, even if you own I don't know, a Chevy Volt, for example, when you go to a Chevy dealership or Ford dealership or whatever, and you pull up, someone comes out to greet you. That's just how it is in every single instance. I've never had people not greet me except for the Tesla service center. So I come in and I go like, hey guys, I was just kind of sitting there in a while, and they're like, yeah, okay. So I said, well, I'm just returning my car. They're like, "Okay, you have to go to sales." Okay, that's fine. I have to go sales. So I walked out and I was like, I feel like it's my duty to come back and say something, right? So I come back. I said, I was wondering if a service manager is available. I just wanted to talk to him. And he goes, I'm the service manager. I'm like, great. Now I'm going to tell the service manager how crappy of a job he's doing. All right, I can do that, I guess. So I told him, I said, listen, I've owned Teslas. I'm on my third Tesla for 7 years, one of the first adopters. And I'm returning my car today for the first time without having to purchase another one from you guys. And I have to tell you, the reason for that is you. Look what just happened. I came in for service as far as you knew. And you didn't even bother coming out. Nobody kind of bothered to, assist me. And his reply was like, well, we don't have really any appointment schedule. I said, okay, but some people come in with emergencies or, and you can see me through the window that I pulled up. Your staff can see me. You should really, I don't see you guys being that busy right now, so it would be nice. And he just looked at me like he gave no crap whatsoever. I was like, all right, I don't even know. Like, I felt bad because I was like, I don't even know why I'm talking to him because, well, the reason the service is bad is because he is the service manager, and it sounds like it's perfectly fine. I did try addressing with their manager also. Like, I tried to give feedback. Like, I don't know. Like, trust me, I can vent here. I can vent to my friends. I don't, I really am genuinely trying to give them feedback, which I think they're not getting enough of. So I tried to talk to the manager of the entire a showroom, and I guess she wasn't available. As a matter of fact, she's still, like, it's been a couple of weeks or 2 or 3 weeks, and I still haven't heard from her. I almost don't really care. I just kind of wonder, are they really that overwhelmed where they just don't even want to hear it? They know what I'm going to say, or do they really care so little? And if either one of it is the case, is like, well, what about Elon? They're like, does Elon know about this? Because it's something that he has acknowledged issues with service before, and it really, but I'm not really sure if he understands the level of it. I used to drive a Mercedes before this, and to be honest with you, I never was impressed with the Mercedes as a car. I thought the looks were okay, and I thought everything that I like, even when I bought a brand new Mercedes, the insights, the technology to me always looked like it was 20 years old, right? Just with a little bit maybe nicer graphics, with the smoother lines and stuff like that. I was never impressed with the car that much. But the reason I kept buying the Mercedes over and over again was the service, because every time I would come into a Mercedes dealership, and I've tried quite a few of them in the Bay Area, my God, I was treated as a king, right? So, and I know not everyone's like me. Don't get me wrong. Not everyone's like me. But enough people are like me where ownership experience matters. And even 10%, if 10% of people are like me, Tesla's going to start losing customers. They already lost me, right? I know I'm still kind of struggling, or maybe going back with a used one and taking the abuse maybe for one more year and see how that goes. But unfortunately, I was buying a Mercedes that wasn't driven by the product, was driven by the excellent service. I have to say the same thing a lot of with Amazon, and a few other services. I think 1-800 Contacts, like there was another service that I don't always want to buy stuff from Amazon or from 1-800 Contacts. Just, there are cheaper prices somewhere else, or maybe even sometimes better choices, regardless of how big they are. But the excellent customer service, knowing that if I buy something and if there is a problem and they're going to make it easy on me to resolve it, that is such a peace of mind that I'm willing to pay for, and buy a product for them, even the product may not be the cheapest one or the most affordable one. So to me, it's important. Let me know, as you guys are commenting on this video, let me know how important is customer service and ownership experience to you, like on a scale of 1 to 10. Let's say 1, not important at all. 10, you're like me, where if you don't get good customer service, you're just not going to be buying, no matter whatever it is that they're selling. So give me an answer in the chat room so I can see what you guys think, because maybe it's just me. Like, maybe it's just me. So my bigger concern about it is obviously that people are not necessarily, people are going to start leaving the brand. A few people already have, and a lot of people may not be buying the car because of that, right? So like this amazing product that's out there will not be purchased, and it's hard for the Tesla to survive. I mean, I know they'll survive, but they're obviously going through another set of painful points. And the fact that their sales are not up could just be a reflection not of the product but the customer service. So that's unfortunate. Mike in the chat room says it's very important to have customer service, and I can see how this is a very common sort of, especially in the United States. Let me know if you're in Europe, and let me know if customer service is important in Europe, because I felt like it's not. Like, not to say that I had bad service when I visited the Europe last year a few times. I am originally from Europe myself. I just felt it just wasn't a thing. That wasn't a must-have. John Pagani says, I ordered an X and an S for my company. I did 4-hour trip to my local Tesla office yesterday to put my order on hold until September. Have I done the right thing? I'm assuming, John, that you did that because of the refresh, right? Now, we know that Model S just got a refresh, a few weeks ago. But it was mainly technical refresh, the batteries, the charging, the motors, and so forth. The September refresh is expected to be an internal refresh, right? The interior, maybe something on the exterior, but from what I understand, it's just going to be in the interior. So here's the thing. I personally don't like what I see from the leaked pictures that I see of what the interior of Model S is going to turn into, which is essentially a larger version of Model 3. I would rather them go more luxurious route than a simpler route. So if you do like Model 3 interior design over a Model S, then definitely wait and get it. If you like the current one like I do, with a vertical screen and a pretty large screen behind the steering wheel, then I would buy whatever they are selling right now, because I believe, and I told Eli that, right? Eli Burton from My Tesla Adventure, who just got his, that right now they're producing the best Teslas ever. And probably that statement will stay for a while, especially if they're going to change the interior to something way, way more simplistic. Now, when they do that refresh, what's probably going to happen is they're going to put the cars that they've been producing for the last few years, essentially throughout the summer, on sale as an inventory cars. And if you're looking for a deal, then that would be the best deal, right? Because they're trying to get rid of those. But if you think those are the best produced, then you can get a really good discount. Now, one thing I should say, I believe the deal, I'm not really sure if it ended on June 1st, but it might be still going on, John, where they're giving you the $20,000 full self-driving ludicrous pack. No, I think it was just a ludicrous upgrade for free. Now that's a discount you probably won't be able to get in September, no matter how cheap those inventory cars are going to get. So if that's what you're also after, then right now is the best time. Again, you have to check if that sale is still going on. So I hope that answers your question. Well, let's see. John said yes to that. Okay. Next one. Nathan said, with people stretching their budget to buy a Tesla, the last thing they want is bad service. Customers should be rewarded with at least basic friendly customer service. I agree that, and I have to say, like, especially in the beginning, people who bought Tesla Model S cars, like myself, were not people originally shopping for 80, 90, $100,000 cars. I kind of always had a limit at 60,000, 65. So to me it was a stretch, but I wanted to be one of the first owners. I wanted to support the company. So I went, I think my first car was $90,000, which was well above my comfort zone. A lot of other people with relatively average Silicon Valley salaries, or just definitely not multimillionaires or even millionaires, have purchased that car just to be part of that movement. And definitely, getting your money worth is obviously customer service. So I can't agree with you more. um, Martin says, I would say 7 or 8. It's quite important. Okay, so that's me. I would say 9 or 10. Gray says it's a combo. By the way, welcome back. I've seen you, I think, the last couple of live streams. It's a combo of attitude of the current owners, the preachy mentality of it all, and the other part is literally parts supply in the used market is insane. 5 to 10 times higher than other car of the same price. Yeah. So part of the problem with the customer service, which Elon acknowledged, is obviously when something breaks or you get in a car accident, the wait for the parts is ridiculous. It is, I've experienced it myself, and I think the first time I got in an accident, I waited for 2 months for a part that normally is available within a day or two in pretty much any other brand. And recently, one of the most shocking things that Elon said that I've heard him say was, I think it was during the Q1 earnings call. He or Q4 maybe earnings call. He essentially, yeah, Q4 for the last year earnings call. See, he essentially said that Tesla had no idea how to do parts distribution. Wait, I don't even need to do this because I already have a picture of me doing this. That's what it felt like. I don't know, not many people picked up on it, but I remember that moment when I listened, because I was actually test driving Kia Niro EV in Santa Cruz, and I remember listening to it and going like, I'm sorry, did he just told all of us that for all of these years they had no idea how to do parts distribution? Like, how is this possible? So, and it still continues. Now I know they're changing things around, and I hope that changes, but there's still a long wait for the parts. And by the way, what do you think is driving the insurance prices up for Tesla, right? Is the fact that the insurance companies have to pay for the rental cars for longer, for the storage fees all longer, because guess what? Somebody's paying for the storage fees for your car to be there, taking up a parking spot. A lot of times cars like this have to be brought in into the building overnight, and that space is even more limited. So, and that's what's driving the insurance prices up. So yeah. By the way, I just saw a super chat from Jeff J. Thank you so much. Well, you're the highest super chat right now. So if that stays, I'll invite you to co-host the show next Tuesday. A lease or finance a Model 3? That's a tough call right now because I always preach leasing, right? Unless you really want to keep your car for like 10 years, I always or you drive like over 17 or 18,000 miles a year, or you have like really bad credit, I always recommend leasing, right? Now, but the Model 3 is very different. First of all, their lease price suck. Their lease rates so I did a video about this, and comparing to the same priced cars, gas or electric, doesn't really even matter because math is math, money is money. They're about $100 more a month than a comparable car. Even if you compare it to Kia Niro EV for the same price, which they are very similarly priced, it's literally $100 a month. And on top of that, you cannot buy that car out of the lease. Now, the reason it's important, now, I don't recommend doing it except for this one case where, the car, just because of a good market, ended up being worth more than your residual value. And it happened to me a few times. So in that case, you want to, let's say your Model 3 is going to be worth $22,000 and your residual value is $20,000, right? You obviously want to buy it from Tesla leasing for $20,000 and sell it for the market price of $22,000, thus recovering the $2,000. Now you can't do that. Tesla will take that car no matter what because they want to turn them into the robo-taxis. So crappy lease rate, and on top of that, the not being able to recover the money if the market lifts the car up above the residual value, it's a big hit. On the other, Jake just beat Jeff by 1 cent with a super chat, and I'll address your question as well. So that's becoming a tougher call. Now, the good thing about the leasing is the tax credit gets built into your lease right away. So it's kind of an instant rebate rather than waiting for the next year, which is April 15th, depending on when you do your taxes. So you get that money up front. So yeah, this is a tough call. I don't know. I think right now they're both bad choices. That's just how I see it. All right, so I hope I answered your question by not answering. I know it's not what you were asking. Here's the thing. Oh yeah, but the thing is, you do win on a sales tax, right? You essentially pay half of the sales tax on the car. I don't think it's gonna make up the difference of $100 a month. More that you're gonna be paying for the Model 3 than the comparable price. So I would just go with a purchase if you absolutely have to. But before that, why not look into Kia Niro EV or Hyundai Kona EV? It's available in your market, in other cars that are coming out, depending on the price range. So, I would do that. All right, Jake, super chat, $2. Thank you. Question: Lidar or visual radar? I don't know what visual radar is, because radars are usually not visual. Visual are cameras. Radars are usually just they're wave based, just like a lidar. Now I know Elon says that lidars suck and they don't need them, and maybe they don't need them, but we don't know. And also, there's nothing wrong with redundancy. Every other company is using a lidar. Now I understand that Elon's point of view is that it's also expensive. Well, much like anything, lidars are getting more and more cheap, less and less expensive. It is much cheaper to install it, and lidars do have, and they get better, by the way. Like maybe a few years ago they couldn't see through sandstorms and rains and snow. Now they're getting much better, so better and cheaper. And why not have redundancy? Because a lot of times what cameras can see or cannot see, lidar can pick up much better, especially if we're talking about darkness, right? Or fog or other. Now I know the radars can still pick it up, but lidar is almost like HD definition, high definition version of the radar. And if it's costing you an extra $100 to put that in the car, I think you should. So I think, I'm not saying Elon is wrong about not using lidars. Maybe his technology is able to do it without, but I wouldn't say that lidar is a bad technology. I would just feel more comfortable with a car that has as many different technological gadgets to protect me and to make my experience better as possible. So yes to lidar. Okay, so now that Jake is our winner for now at $2, let me go back to some of the other comments. Is anyone investing in Tesla stocks? Why or not? That's also from Jake. I'm not. I cannot give stock advice. I think it's. I'm not going to. And I don't invest simply because I'm an independent channel. I pride myself in having a biased opinion, so investing into any company with my own money would be a conflict of interest. For me, customer service, says Joshua Mendoza says, for me, customer service is very important and overall ownership experience. My Tesla Model 3, first and last Tesla, will go back to Lexus. Amazing customer service. Ed Magnesium, Lexus Fremont. That's right, Magnesium, Lexus Fremont. That's where I bought my my Lexus a while back, and their customer service is excellent. And here's another example, right? Tesla sold an amazing car to Josh, and then it took that back with a crappy customer service. Hopefully by the end you sell that car, they improve, or at least, but please do pick a brand that sells electric cars. The only thing I can ask, at least consider them. Neil Weaver says customer service critical for Model S and Model X, less for the Model 3 and Model Y, difference in customer demographic. Great point, actually. I agree with that. Yeah, but usually the service should be provided to all customers equally, right? So, Dag Am says, same here. I prefer the current interior and sunroof. Gray says Tesla has to fix its parts service and it'll be fine. Um, yes, but they haven't. It's an easy fix, believe it or not. I do believe it. It is a very easy fix, and that's why my whole title of this video is that I don't think they know about it. People are not talking about it out there, and maybe Tesla and Elon, they live in a bubble, not knowing how much it's actually hurting them. Certainly not watching my channel, that's for sure. It's not very pleasant if you're Elon. Um, but it really hurts them until they wake up and restructure. Yep, I absolutely agree. Pamela Gibson says, who buys a car and does nothing but complain? Where the hell are all of the Biden videos? I don't even understand the question. Who buys a car and does nothing but complain? Well, I actually do more than complain. First of all, there are quite a few videos, hundreds of them actually, on my channel where I praise Tesla and communicate great news to you. Just also don't forget, mainly I do news, so don't shoot the messenger. Um, but I've always, I think, including this video, I always say that I think Tesla is the best car on the planet, the best car ever made. Somehow you forgot about that, Pamela. I don't know why. Just maybe go back and listen to it again. Somehow it's just um, that didn't make it into your brain, but the rest of it did. It's kind of funny how sometimes people pick and choose what they choose to listen to. Um, but actually, Pamela, the reason you ever have good customer service is not because brands are so wonderful and they want to be so nice to you. They're actually good customer service because of people like me complaining. And I wouldn't even say complaining because I'm bringing this up as a concern, right? Complain is almost like kind of like you just want to vent, right? I'm not venting. I'm actually not only bringing this up, I'm also telling you what needs to be fixed and how it needs to be fixed, and what parts of it are more important, parts are less important. So this is a little bit different than just complaining. Now, you want to attack Biden? I don't think you understand, but he says right here, my channel is sponsored by Byton. They're one of the few sponsors. The other ones are Evanex and Extreme Accelerate Auto. So I love my sponsors, and I absolutely big fan of all of the products and services I advertise. That's how I eat, Pamela. When you see commercials on television, it's kind of like the same thing. Is that's how we make money. But I pride myself in actually picking sponsors that I'm behind. Myself, 100%. Byton is one of the brands that I've been covering for a long time. I really love it. I'm a reservation holder, and that's why they were a perfect fit to sponsor this channel. If you have other concerns about this, every single video has a link to another video where I explain some of the myths that people think that the brand sponsors the channel, all of a sudden they owe me. Actually, that's nothing further from the truth, but I would let you watch that video. Again, Pamela, I wish you would have phrased your question a little bit more in a way how I could, one, understand it better, or at least have a discussion, because your complaint, you're talking about me complaining sounds like a complaint on its own. All right, so maybe you'll update yours and maybe I can reply to that in a better manner. John says, thanks for the great insight. You just gained a new Patreon. Well, thank you so much. So let me talk about the Patreon, by the way, guys. And all of these super chats. As I mentioned, this is something I do for a living myself. And I know for a fact, and by the way, I don't want to be crying about it, but I chose to switch the name of my channel from Everything Tesla to E4 Electric because I wanted to cover other brands and I wanted to be independent of the brand, right? You can't be fair to other brands if your channel has one of the brand's name in it as a title, right? It's very different from being a sponsor. So I wanted to do that, and I pride myself on being unbiased, but eventually that cost me a lot of subscribers, a lot of views, because one, a lot of Tesla fanboys, I'm assuming Pamela is maybe one. They get angry when they listen to something that's negative and critical of Tesla or Elon Musk, and they just leave. And obviously, I lose subscribers and views. And when I make videos about other brands that are up and coming and it's exciting, but a lot of people don't really ready or don't want to listen about that. And so my views are not as high as they could have been if I would be doing another video about a Model 3 or whatever. So sponsors and Patreons is what is actually feeding me, right? This is the only income I have. I quit my full-time job with a very nice salary that I was able to afford 2 Teslas on, and now all I can afford is a Chevy Volt. But I would not change that for the world. I love doing this. I love my audience. My audience is actually a very unique audience. My audience are a lot of Tesla owners who are pretty realistic about the brand, right? There are some things that they like and there's some things they don't like. A lot of them actually are very much on the theme of this video. A lot of them love the car, hate the service, love the car, maybe hate some of the tweets that they see from Elon Musk. So and a lot of them are just fans of other brands, right? Like I have a lot of followers who love the fact that I bought a Chevy Volt and was able to actually talk about the plug-in hybrid technology sort of being a comfortable way to start trying out electric car products, right? Electric cars, really. So see, I see another message. Sagi Alush says, "Why you hate on Tesla so much?" Sagi, I don't. I mean, you can't say I hate on Tesla so much because I've bought them before you have, and most people have, and I bought 3 of them. I hated them so much, I bought 3 of them. The reason I talk about them, well, first of all, a lot of my videos are just news, right? So if there's bad Tesla news, and there have been quite a few of them, that's what I'm going to talk about. But like, for example, right now, the reason I'm talking about it is because people are not talking about it and it's sinking the brand. If you love the brand, you should talk about it. You understand what I'm saying? If you love the brand, you don't want to watch them kind of go down and suffer from this, and you want to help them. But you have to admit the problem first before you fix the problem. Does that make sense? So anyway, well, by the way, patrons, people think that I do this. I mean, a lot of you said that you really like the fact that I do this videos live every Tuesday, but I do this videos live every day. And so Patreons are the ones who get to watch me live. And obviously, when I interact with Patreon, every Patreon has full access to me. I don't think I've not replied to a single message yet. So if you're Patreon and you contact me directly or through the live chat, like here I can't answer all the questions. I just can't. Like, I'll be losing my voice pretty soon, right? But they are Patreon's full access. But also you're just simply supporting my channel. So if you like this independent channel, if you want, like, the independent part, the unbiased part is sponsored by my Patreons, which, by the way, maybe it's a good tagline. All right, so thank you for becoming Patreon. Another super chat, Dag Am with $5 super chat. Thank you so much. He says, Elon, invite me and my kid to your factory. I'm willing to help with your parts logistics nightmare. Alex, keep the unbiased reporting going. Thank you for acknowledging that. Elon probably doesn't watch the channel. I was actually lucky enough to have Elon reply to me on Twitter a couple of times, and one of them was very recently. But he's just not gonna watch. If he was watching this channel, I think, or even paying attention to a little bit, I think some things would be very different. Mark says, Alex, Zach and Jesse, a definition of Tesla fanboys. Yes, though I also have to separate. I like Zach and Jesse. As you know, we've collaborated a few times. I was on their channel just a few weeks ago. They were my channel after the Model Y unveiling. I like them. Yes, they're Tesla fanboys, but they're good ones and bad ones, right? I actually like them. I think they're self-aware Tesla fanboys, right? They say, listen, we like this bubble. We're going to live in this bubble and we like it, and we're going to talk to other people who live in this bubble. And I think there's nothing wrong with that, because you kind of need people on both ends in the extreme, right? But there are some people, I don't really want to name them, you probably can guess, but there's some YouTubers who try to come across as sort of critical thinkers and kind of a fair sort of estimators of what's going on, but they're tripping over their own biased opinions, and most importantly, the fact that they don't know much about other electric cars. And I've seen it a few times that this like a lot of Tesla YouTubers and social media influencers, they don't know what's happening out there. They don't know that there's some other companies. They can't even like admit to the fact that other companies can actually solve some of the problems that Tesla hasn't been able to solve better, or have a better technology and so forth. But it's true. I mean, listen, it's like people will catch up, and Tesla will not always be the best at different things. Um, let's see. Pamela says, I love the way you say my name. All right. Uh, sure. Thank you. Let's see if okay, another LOL for Pamela. Pamela, I would really rather just have you like address what I'm saying, because I've heard people say very similar things, but I'm just trying to figure out, is it a misunderstanding? Are you just trolling? You know what I mean? Because if you're actually having a hard time understanding, my position and the role of Biden on this channel, like, I'd be happy to explain if we can have an adult conversation. But if you're just gonna kind of throw kind of that poison my way and then kind of leave, I'm not really sure if it's really a productive conversation. I almost like, sorry I replied, if you're not going to follow up with maybe something more, clarifying at least. I'm happy to talk about it. You can certainly argue with me and call me out on things. Just give me a fair shake here. Um, Donovan says, Alex, then talk only about Biden, not Tesla. Why? Biden has bought certain things on this channel, like space over there, and the quick shout out that I do, and in space in my header, and that's all they bought. They paid for advertising. That's just how it works. Like when people advertise on CNN, let's say Chevy would promote their cruise on CNN. That doesn't mean that CNN now is only going to talk about Chevrolet, or even report only positively on Chevrolet. So Biden bought that space over there, but they didn't buy this space over here. This is still going to be happening. I'm going to be saying whatever it is that I want about any brand that I want, including Biden. As a matter of fact, it is in every contract I sign, the sponsorship, and I just don't sign. I walk away from any contracts that don't include 100% independence of my content from the brand. Meaning the brand cannot cancel a contract or whatever, or disallow me or make me take down the video, or anyway censor me if I decide to talk negatively about them. And I have talked about brands that sponsor my channel one way or another negatively all the time. Man, lots of attacking today. Anyway, Donovan, that was just a silly comment on your part. I'm pretty sure you know better than that. Are you doing any Biden videos? Actually, love the Biden just money tree not working so well, and one person in big car, I believe, is a waste. So I am going to be doing. So there hasn't been that many news about Biden, so I haven't done a video on them in a while. There are a couple of things that I'm working on. And you're right. Well, I guess to the counterpoint of who was it, Donovan, is that actually I've done less videos about Biden lately than other brands. So there. So yes, Nigel, I'm working on another Biden video. I'll try to get it out as maybe in the next couple of weeks. Okay. Let's see. Just trying to scroll up and see if I've missed anything. Gray says, "Yep, I agree, Alex. You brought up the issue. I'm assuming you brought up the issue. What the solution is, how Tesla can do it. What else do we gotta do? Hold their hands. I mean, yeah. So I don't know. Again, I don't know. I can't please everybody. So, oh yeah. So back to Dag's comments. Yeah, well, I guess I addressed them. There are quite a few specialists that I wish Tesla would hire. Like there was this guy here on my channel. He's an excellent UX designer. As he was a college kid, so he redesigned Tesla app in, I think, an excellent way. Excellent way, something Tesla should have done a long time ago. And I featured him here. He explained everything. He presented his new design and everything. And Tesla never bothered even calling him up. Even though a lot of people suggested that Elon would rather do memes or talk crap about New York Times or whatever, than hire this impressive young man. And I really enjoyed having him on the show, and I did my best to connect. And guess what? I just connected them to other brands. So not only Tesla didn't hire him, other brands are, I don't know if they've hired him or not, and I don't want to give up that personal information, but so Tesla does no longer just hire best talent, right? They unfortunately they don't, and this is one of big examples. Let's see. I'm just scrolling up because I know I missed a lot of the conversation. Nigel says, not lease, renting Tesla is available. I'm not sure if, I'm pretty sure renting Tesla, Nigel, is more, more expensive than leasing. Kevin says solid state lidar. Yes, solid state lidars are a thing, and this is kind of a new technology, and that's why you don't need to have it on top. You can just build them into the body of the car, like Tesla does and other brands do with radars and cameras. Sagi, dude, if you're gonna make comments of a 5-year-old, I don't know if you are or not, I'm just gonna ban you. So, but I'll read your comment. It's actually, I don't mind addressing it. But again, the next one, if it's not going to be in an adult level, it's just going to be gone. And once I ban somebody, you're just never able to comment on the channel. Just FYI. Okay, he said, good luck finding a better car to drive than a Tesla. I won't have a better luck. I already said that, and I will say it again. Please pay attention. Tesla is the best car out there and will be for a long time. However, it doesn't mean that it's the best car for everybody, and it doesn't mean that I'm going to buy a best car. What I'm going to buy, or I hope to buy, is the best ownership experience, which is more than a car itself. It includes customer service. It includes good deals. It includes parts availability. It includes aftercare. And that's called ownership experience. So yes, just because I won't find a better car than Tesla, but I will find a better ownership experience. But this is my whole point. If Tesla can fix that, they can still be the best ownership experience as well, because I want them to succeed. They're right now really the only company that's pushing everybody out there forward with this, and they've been for a while. So it pains me when they are not living up to their own expectations and standards. Does that make sense? Okay. I need Tesla insurance ASAP. My renewal for the next 6 months is in 2 weeks. Says optimistically negative. I love the username. All right. Stephen James says, "Hey Alex, what's the weather doing in the U.S. at the moment? It's come over and gray and cold over the last 2 days. Can't think why." Well, I'm in Sacramento, California, and it's so freaking hot in here. You can't go outside right now. You would really melt. And it's going to only get worse. You're in Europe, so in Celsius right now it's 36 degrees shade. Yeah. Let's see. Press the like button, says Nigel. Absolutely, please do, guys. It usually helps the video do well afterwards. So I appreciate that. And don't forget to actually subscribe to the newsletter. I don't know if you guys are aware, we have a free newsletter. We do this bonus article. I have a great writer, AJ, who writes bonus articles. He writes all the articles on e4electric.com. So if you ever want a text version of the video, we have them there. But also, you get a bonus article, something that we don't cover here on the channel. We also do a deal of the month where you essentially just make money on being part of the newsletter. Right now, it's this item from Evanex, but we're going to have other ones in the future. So don't forget to do that, please. It's free. As you can see, e4electric.com/VIP. Stephen James, what decision have you made about what your next EV will be? Well, that's a problem. I have not. One thing, and I think I've already addressed this in my very first live video I did a couple of weeks ago, but I'm torn, right? I'm torn as a customer, but I'm also torn as a host of this channel because I want to see which brand besides Byte and I will be working with in the future. And I want to make sure that I put my money where my mouth is. I don't want to advertise, let's say, Mercedes if I decided to go with an Audi. I don't want to advertise, a Porsche if I decided to go with Tesla. That's not me. I've been behind every single product that I advertised. Yes, they buy advertisement and they don't buy my opinion. but I do want to be able to recommend the brand and allow them to advertise on my channel only if I'm behind that brand. So if I'm recommending and saying, hey, you guys buy this car, I better be buying this car with you. So you see what I'm saying? So I don't want to buy, like, I'll make a decision right now for my personal reasons. Let's say I do decide to go with a Tesla and then start advertising Audi. You know, you will all call BS and leave my channel as you should, because that would be BS. So I'm going to wait and see what other brands I'll end up working with, and I want to make sure that I actually end up driving those cars, and because it will also give me a better insight of positives and negatives about their brand, just like I've done with Tesla and with the Chevy Volt. So my decision is beyond my personal decision, unfortunately, because I kind of want to do right by all of you guys. I hope that makes sense. Let's see. Okay, so let me scroll. Let me try to catch up. I'm sorry, guys. I'm missing some of these. A lot of them because you typing a lot of really fast. Ivan Horvat says hello from Croatia, a country, the home country of Rimac. Am I pronouncing it right, Ivan? Rimac, right? I've been saying Rimac for a long time, but really people told me it's Rimac. So I just want to make sure I'm doing it right. High's Peace says Amazon working on EV as well. They are, but I think their biggest success story right now is investment in Rivian. And by the way, the Amazon Echo for cars as a standalone thing is now being shipped. I'm one of the, like today I'm going to be getting it, and I'm probably going to do a review. So I am excited about that. Eli Burden, welcome to the live stream, the president of my Tesla adventure and my guest tomorrow, as he always is with his own segment on Wednesdays. He believes, he says, Alex is going to surprise us all and buy a Hummer. I don't even know if they're on sale. I haven't seen one in a long time. Make your own electric car. Diego, how are you? Diego was the guest on co-hosting on the show last week because he was the highest superchart donor, and I believe he's also Patreon. Dag M right now is the highest super chat. Now we're going to be wrapping this up, so Dag, if you're going to end up being the highest super chat at $5, contact me on PM me on Twitter. E4Electric is my handle, and then we'll organize it for the next. You can be a co-host for a little bit for the next stream. I enjoyed having Diego. That was awesome. Joe says, think Biden might manufacture in the United States to avoid tariffs. Not anytime soon, because they just kind of almost finished their factory in Nanjing. That's where they're going to be producing it. I think the goal is just to start making cars already for Chinese market, and then cross over to the US and Europe. And then they're going to deal with tariffs. The tariffs problem, you can't deal with them right now, because they change all the time. We don't know what Trump is going to do. We don't know what Chinese president is going to do. We don't know who's going to be our president in another couple of years. So that situation is not settled. So you can't just put $5 billion, and 2 years or 3 years sometimes in building a factory that will solve a problem that won't even exist by the time you actually start making cars. So I don't believe they're going to do that. MK, is Michael Kors in the house? I think it's a good idea to use solar panels on the roof of the Gigafactory. I think they are moving towards that at some point. That's been one of the criticism, I believe. Let's see. Just kind of scrolling. In Europe, says Nigel, Audi, Toyota, and even Nissan, Renault are stalling next year before some limited competition. Yeah, competition is right. So okay. So Ivan says Rimac, but I don't know how you're pronouncing it. Is it TS sound or is it K sound? Let me know which one. Rick Samuel says, my wife and I want to buy an electric car, looking at the Niro or Kona, maybe a Bolt, but we're worried about GM's quality. P.S. We love your videos. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Rick, first of all, for the compliment. GM's quality is not that bad. I don't think it's that much worse, though the Bolt's interior is pretty cheap looking, especially the seats. I'm not a big fan of it just in exterior design. I'm not big fan of how not behind of their product the Chevy is. So unless you have like an amazing deal, I would probably skip. I think Kia Niro EV is, I love that car. If you can get a hold of that car, I would go with that. Um, I mean, it's not going to be a luxury car. None of the ones that you've listed right now are going to be luxury cars. I don't really like that much of a build quality of Model 3. Just even if they build it perfectly, to me it looks just as non-premium as Kia Niro EV or the Bolt. But that's my personal opinion. Um, yes, Hans, Amazon. Yeah, but I don't want to say that word because I'm going to trigger the device in my own home and everyone else's home. Um, what happened to Toyota RAV4 Tesla car, says Hans. They just stopped their partnership. That was unfortunate. I mean, obviously Toyota was just trying to make a compliance car, so you know. Great seeing you live on your YouTube channel, my friend, says Eli of My Tesla Adventure. But as you know, Eli, I am live on my channel on Patreon. So those of you guys who are I would like to support my show, Eli is one of the Patreons, actually, I believe as well. You get to watch this live every day. What you see on YouTube are reposts of what I do live. All stocks are up today. That's good. K Sofer says we love our Model 3 long range. That's awesome. How's service? How's Trump's health? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Physical health, mental health. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. Oh, Dag Am. Oh, this is awesome, guys. Check this out. Dag Am, who is right now the current winner to co-host the show, and I'm going to be wrapping things up. So if you want to do the super chat, you better do it quick. He said he's donating his spot to Pamela Gibson, who was, from what I understand, been kind of trolling me, and I'll accept. So Pamela, if you would like to be a guest, as long as you're being civil and don't curse, because that's actually against my policy on this channel. Yeah, I would love to have you on. So if Dagam ends up winning this, you can contact me on. Oh, Diego, you just ruined this. All right, but thank you. Diego donates $10. I don't know if we can have a repeat. I don't know if we can have a repeat guest, because then you'll just be a permanent co-host, Diego. But hey, rules are rules, right? All right, so Diego's at $10, but I was really hoping that maybe Pamela would have accepted. Pamela, would you have accepted? Oh, she said, I'll take it. I'm very civil. All right. Diego, are you saying, would you donate your spot to Pamela? Let me know. Yep. Perfect. This is great. Thank you. First of all, thank you for. By the way, Pamela, you're free to actually super chat at me as well. Oh, another super chat. John Pagani says, I think I'll take that spot at 15 British pounds, which I will have to figure out what it is. Oh, Dag just beat him at $20. What is this, eBay of E4 Electric? Dag once again puts Pamela ahead at $20. I know. I would love to have Pamela because I think, I don't like trolling, but at the same time, I kind of want to have a conversation with somebody who, one, thinks that I'm a Tesla hater, and two, thinks that Biden owns me, right? Those two are the biggest misconceptions that I think bother me a lot. I do find them funny, but they do kind of bother me. Next bid at $1 million, says Diego. So I would love to talk to somebody, especially if she's a reasonable person. I would love to know what is it that you guys are missing about, because I've communicated this many times, especially about Biden. Every video that I have has a link to a full explanation what a sponsorship means. So that would be nice. Newly traded in Zoe. Nigel has a Renault Zoe that's not available in the United States. Now, I'm just about to make a video live on Patreon about the sales, the latest sales numbers. And Zoe is kind of kicking butt in the world sales, actually. But it's something very interesting happening with the US sales. So tune in for that video. Once I'm done streaming here, I will stream on Patreon and make those two videos, which I probably... Pamela says, you misunderstood me. I am very reasonable. Pamela, reach out to me on Twitter. My handle there is E4Electric. I allow PMs. So send me a private message. We will figure this out. I usually do a test run. We can do a test run, and then you will be the guest on the next show. I'm closing the bidding, even though I appreciate it. I mean, of course, you can still super chat, but for now, I'm closing the bidding. Pamela via DagAm at the $20 super chat will be the next co-host. And I'm really already excited. I already can't wait because this is the type of guest I want to have. This is going to be great. So Pamela, reach out to me, E4Electric on Twitter. Overall, thank you all of you guys for hanging out with me. Don't forget about our VIP list. Thank you for joining me. I'm always trying to do this for 20 minutes, and I've been going for over an hour. So, and I also have to say, I actually have a coffee date that I have to go to. I'm single now, so I've been going out on dates, and so I have one, and I still need to make 2 videos. So, thank you all of you guys for joining me. I will expect a message from Pamela on Twitter. Thank you for all of the super chats, guys. I really appreciate it. John, Dag, Diego. Let's see who else. Dag again. We had one from Jake and Jeff. Thank you. And Jeff got us started with $1.99. That's a hot chocolate at Starbucks, right? Have fun on the date, says Bradley Keyser. We'll see. My dates have been okay lately, or like ever since I moved here. Ivan, he says in the Croatian language, just read how it is written, so it's remats. Okay, so he's saying remats. Okay, I've been saying remat for a long time just because C is K, right? But I'm also Russian, so I speak Russian. I totally understand. That's a letter that essentially TS sound. Yeah, I've been pronouncing remats correctly, but I was not pronouncing it correctly when I was interviewing Mate Remats. So yeah. All right. So John says, thank you for your advice. Absolutely. I hope I helped. That's kind of the purpose of this entire channel, really. Tom M says from the other Tom M. He's from the other Tom M. Enjoyed the chat very much. Absolutely. Thank you for that. And guys, don't forget, next Tuesday, 1 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to do this all over again, and it's going to be fun. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow. Eli of My Tesla Adventure will be here. I don't even know what the topic is going to be. I just know it's going to be good. That's something I can pretty much guarantee. So I'm excited about that. Don't forget to sign up with a newsletter. Quick shout out to once again to the latest Patreon whose name I've just butchered so many times I don't even want to pronounce it again. Sean Henry says, wow, your live has been so long. I know I do it every Tuesday now at 1 p.m. I'm sorry we're at the end of it because I really, really just have to go. Otherwise, I probably would have stuck around for another probably an hour or until I lose my voice. So, yeah. All right, guys, it's been fun. I don't want to leave, but I have to. So until next Tuesday, I will see you then. And of course, remember to stay charged.